Good morning, everyone. It is I, Jeanette, again. And this one is in the beginning, which will try to help you understand the main players in all of this. Well, when I found out that most of the famous people that we see on TV are transgendered, meaning they're born one sex and pretend they're another, it led me down to a path where I had to ask, why was this happening? And one thing led to another. Anyway, I have to start with the beginning of our origins, believe it or not. I can't just take a picture, cut it up, and show you how I find out that people are transgendered. It's much more deeper than that, I found out. So that's why it's turned into a series. In my first video, I talked a little bit about myself. And now this one, I'm going to be talking about our origins. So here goes. About 450,000 years ago, there was a race of foreigners called the Anunnaki. They decided to visit our neck of the woods and decided to stay. This story surrounds two brothers and possibly a son/nephew. The two brothers, the first one, Enki, who was a master geneticist scientist, his brother Enlil, who was a commander of the air, like the armed forces that we have, and Marduk, who is the son of Enki, and the nephew of Enlil. All of them are known as royalty, where they came from, Nibiru. The stone Sumerian texts that were discovered in Iraq, I think, and there's various other places also. The story goes that there were workers that were working in the mines for many, many, many years, and they got tired of all the heavy labor they were having to do. And so Enki, the master geneticist, tried an experiment. They had primitive man. We think it's Homo erectus. And Homo erectus couldn't speak, but was very gentle nature. So what Enki did was he took the eggs of the primitive woman, Homo erectus, and he mixed his sperm and I think high-ranking officials also. Then they had like 7 female worker volunteers. They artificially inseminated them. But to back it up a little bit, they first did it with Nema, which I believe was Enki's wife and co-worker scientist. She carried the first baby that ended up being Adam, is what they called him, and I think it means man. I'm not sure exactly, but Adama is the way to pronounce that, I believe. So his wife gave birth to the first one, and then they had volunteers that came forward, and the babies that were born, they called them the black-headed ones. This was down in Africa, and the compound was called Eden, which sounds familiar because they kept that name, and that is in the Bible. It's the same Eden. I believe that these babies, or Homo erectus, was probably like as dark as what the gorillas are. I think Homo erectus probably looks sort of like that. And and they were called the black-headed ones. All this is in the Stone Sumerian text. When you investigate, because you're going to have to do a lot of investigation, I'm only giving you a tip of the iceberg on all this. There's so much to cover. Okay, the thing about Homo erectus, because of the DNA, now they were not created with a high intelligence. They were kind of dumbed down. Enlil told his brother to make sure that you dumb them down and don't make them as intelligent as what we are. And one little girl, Tiamat, I believe was her name, she was able to, they taught her how to sew, and she had made this little apron, and when Enlil came to the compound, she greeted him and she said, "Look what I made." And he liked to shit himself. He was enraged, and he asked his brother, "What are you teaching these people? They're not supposed to have a high intellect." But yeah, well, if you're going to be working in the mines and stuff, you're going to have some sort of intellect, or you're not going to be able to even do that. They have to be able to do stuff like that, and I think it's good that they're able to do small tasks like that, sewing and whatever. And to this day, we're still working for them. When you're paying your taxes and you're doing all that stuff, you are still in the system. And they are still running the show, is what that I'm trying to tell you here. Okay, well, Homo sapien is what they were, and we are Homo sapien sapien. There's two to us, one to them. And the Homo sapien referred to all the Anunnaki as gods. In my video of hypnosis, I asked the higher self, were the gods in the Bible the Anunnaki? And they said yes. And the Elohim are the Anunnaki, the creators of things. They're master geneticists and master builders also. There's a lot of their structures still standing. Yeah, the term gods, it's just a title. It means those that rule over us, basically. And over time, the church has whittled it down to two: Enlil, Yahweh, Jehovah. And I thought for a long time that he was the one people called Satan, the adversary. He and his brother were against each other. But it's since been brought to my knowledge that Marduk, Enki's son and Enlil's nephew, may very well be the one Satan that people refer to as Satan, and he may be the one that's on the throne here now. It may not be Enlil, like what I thought. It doesn't matter, but yeah, he's the one. See, Marduk I thought was the one that they called the Antichrist, okay? But I think Marduk and Enlil isn't cohorts with each other. It doesn't matter, but we know somebody not so that doesn't like the human race so much is on the throne at this time. And they've done everything they can to make the humans' lives almost unbearable in some places. Yeah, well, they still hate the human race, and they enjoy making our lives a living hell. Just look around at the world. The rich, famous people have it all, and I ask, why is this? After putting everything together that I've accumulated over the years, I have found that I believe that Enlil, or Marduk, has been creating their own race of people, half Anunnaki and half human. He's actually using his sperm to make his people. These are all the transgendered people that we have found that are famous and rich. The reason they're in that position is because they are created, they're given to handlers. The handlers find out what talents they have, be it for politics or musicians or actors, sports. The handlers are to find out what the child is good at, and then they will stick them accordingly to, what they would be good at. We have found a lot of the rulers, except Queen Elizabeth, are females. Queen Elizabeth is actually a male, and we will show you that. I'll show you how we do all of that with the royal family and stuff. Everybody is just the opposite, because they are the children. If you're transgendered, and you're born that way, then Marduk or Enlil is your biological father. That's why they're all related. All the presidents are related, and the actors are related to the presidents. The royals are related to everybody over here. And the reason all those people are related, because each of them have the sperm from the same father, and that's Marduk or Enlil. It only takes one man to populate the world. Okay? There. That's my case, and I'm not changing that. Yeah, he wants his children, let's just say Marduk, because I found out that maybe Marduk is the Satan. He wants people worshiping and idolizing his children because they are royalty. He's royalty, and his children are, and therefore he thinks that we should do that. So when you use spells and spelling and rituals, which is another video I'm doing, when you use that behind the scenes, you cast love spells that cause us humans to fall in love with those that we see on the TV, movies, music, and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, okay. Well, as we go along, when I'm doing this dissecting of these people, I will explain a lot of things. Things will come to mind and stuff that I don't have down here. But Lord Enki, God, he will take the throne in about 40 years during the age of Aquarius, and it is very close. I think that's why all this stuff is coming out. It did say in the Bible that things would be revealed. Again, I am not a religious person. Not at all. I'm spiritual, and I'm very open-minded. And it does say in the Bible that things will be revealed during the end of times. Now, it's not the end of the world. It's the end of an age. And when it turns into Aquarius in about 40 years, Enki will take the throne. He's not allowed to step in now at this time. That's what the problem is. Why doesn't God do something with all this madness? Why doesn't he stop the dark side? A lot of people say, well, he doesn't exist. Yeah, he does, but he's not allowed. His hands are tied. It's not his time to rule. As above, so below, it says in the Bible, and that's the way it is. The Anunnaki Council, it's a law that they are not allowed to interfere while somebody else is on the throne. So he's not able to. But he spoke through one of my clients during a hypnosis session. You will find that on my hypnosis video. You're going to have to give me time to do that. I've just started doing this stuff, so it'll be a while. And for the crimes he's committed against mankind, Enlil or Enki, or Enlil or Marduk, excuse me, not Enki, but when Enki takes the throne, okay, for the crimes that were committed against mankind. Enlil, Marduk, and whoever else is behind all of this madness, along with all of the followers, his children, will be imprisoned in the center earth for the full reign of his brother Enki, 1,600 years plus to the next age. I believe the center of the earth is where hell is. Now, when I do hypnosis, I pull out spirits and demons from people. It is a form of exorcism that I do. I have got books by Dr. William Baldwin and Dr. Irene Hickman. They are no longer alive, but they mention a lot of patients they had. They were psychiatrists and they did hypnosis. And they mention a lot of stuff, the conversations they have between the demons. One thing the demons will say is they mention a pit that is cold and dark. This tells me that a spirit can feel and see and hear. So we know everybody is really a living spirit, and you can see, feel, and hear. And whoever is imprisoned in the center earth, well, I believe that pit is like a cavern, or like Merrimack Caverns in Missouri. When I was a young child, a group of us in summer school went to Merrimack Caverns, and it's very cold in there. And when they turned the lights out, you couldn't see your hands in front of your face. And these demons are absolutely terrified of that place. Now, it's not Merrimack Caverns, but it's something like that. I believe that leads down to the center earth that's fiery, like a volcano. We know all that exists. That's all real. What I'm telling you is like all this stuff, there's proof of all this. The Stone Sumerian text talks about all of this. It ties in with the Bible. The Bible's a watered down version of the Stone Sumerian text because it's just so old. Over time, things get changed around and everything. So, but we're able to put a lot of stuff together. And the stuff I've came across, I noticed nobody's exactly put it this way, so I'll add my 2 cents worth, and maybe it can help others. And maybe others can come into this and add their stuff so we can find out what the hell is going on, actually. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in a fifth dimensional world or Palladians or little gray aliens or UFOs or any of that stuff. What I'm interested in is what is going on now and what's going to happen to humanity down the line. Through my hypnosis session, how I come up with 40 years that Enki's going to take the throne. He spoke through one of my clients, and I will have that up too on my hypnosis video. He said, when my grandchildren have grandchildren, they will have to get to know him again. And I said, well, he's going to step out from the shadows then. So a little bit over time, pieces of the puzzle started coming together. And it did not occur to me. I knew this for a long time, but it never occurred to me that he is not allowed to do anything while somebody else is on the throne. It's like it's just not allowed. So he has to sit back. His hands are tied. He can't do anything. What I feel might happen, and I don't like to say anything really, really bad, but before Lord Enki takes the throne, I think out of spite, Marduk, Enlil, those that are on his side, they're going to bomb every major city. They're going to destroy the earth. They've done that before. And I've got a little video from Wes Penry. I'm going to put up the link so you can see that. It's only 9 minutes long, that he mentions them about how they laid the land to waste before. Yeah, and some places are still radioactive from all that time ago. But I think he's going to do that out of spite. When he does that, he's going to get rid of half the population of the world. The Georgia Guidestones mentions about that, and we know that they want to lower the population of the world. Here's another thing. If you're transgender and you're born male, you will be castrated right off the bat. He does not want anybody breeding. If a person wants children, it's all regulated. The female transgenders, if you're basically female with a male overlay, you still carry those eggs. It's like an actor can go away for 5 months out of the 9 months. You start showing about 5 months or 4 months, but you can get away with it probably 5 months. What they do is they hide out those few months, and bam, they got a baby, and they think it's the other one that's had the baby. It's done like this. These transgenders are done like this as being his own race of people, and he controls who can breed and who's going to be born and all that. You see, that's the reason for it. Wants to get rid of the human race, replace them with his kind. And I think a lot of people's going to agree with me on that one. Well, that's why it's coming out and stuff. It's like they don't want you to use the term girl or boy anymore. You know why that is? Because they're neither a girl or a boy. You can't call them the grown terms man or woman. They're neither one of those either. So you can use the term male or female. That's what they're born as. And then that overlay, and I'll explain that a little bit more, how that's done. When you take an egg and you fertilize it, and in this instance, let's take a famous person. They'll take a few of them. A lot famous people are having twins, and they will say they have other couples or what. Sarah gets to do this. Not necessarily, because they can do this themselves. But the reason why the babies look like them is I took Will Smith and his son, Willow. They're transitioning to a female. Willow looks just like Will. Well, I believe they used his eggs. They harvested a couple of them, fertilized them, seen that it was a male. Then they take the female chromosome and overlay that on the top so the person appears to look like a female. It only lasts about 50 years and then it wears off or wanes or whatever, and the person starts looking more masculine. They'll get a wider jaw. Or the males males will start looking like ugly old men. And you can spot it now. And we're hoping that we can just bring this to people's knowledge because it's important. It's like, why is this happening? People shouldn't be resting on their laurels. They need to wake up and just take a look and see and understand what the heck is going on. Okay, there's not much that you can do about it, but it's nice to know what's what. And the thing about the females running the country, a female brain is able to run things better than the male brain. Females are the ones that plan weddings, anniversaries, vacations, run households, clothing design, interior decorating. We found out Adolf Hitler, of course, was a female. The only thing, the Queen of England, is actually a male. But the rest of the family is all turned around too. I haven't understood that one yet. But every president that we have is actually a female, and their husbands are actually the males. because the male mind is not very good at doing a lot of creative things. You find more creative people are actually got the female brains, are actually born female and transition to look like a male. So it looks like men are running everything, that women are the ditzy, stupid ones, and it's the other way around. Now, a man can hardly go to a cupboard and find stuff in a cupboard. So how do you think they're going to run a world? They're not. Makes sense, doesn't it? Well, we're going to prove to you that through the skeletal structure of a person, that people don't know how to read and don't think anything about it, and why that you're blinded to, why didn't I see this before? It's because unless it's actually pointed out to you and you actually see what's what, you haven't a clue. But once that stuff is pointed out, a lot of people wake up, the spell is broken. It's broken when you can register in your mind that, yes, it is what it is. So, when we go back to the trial of Enlil or Marduk, there's three major things that he's done that's against mankind and against the council, the Anunnaki Council. The first thing, he created his own race without permission from the council. I know they did not give him permission to make these beings, because that was a problem that they had back in their days before the Great Flood. That flood was created to get rid of a lot of their abominations that they made, like mermaids, centaurs, a lot of stuff you think is mythology, dinosaurs, all that stuff died during that Great Flood. And how that flood happened, it wasn't just from rain. It was the polar ice caps. The Anunnaki knew that their planet Nibiru was going to come near the Earth, and it would cause it to tilt on its axis or something or another, was going to cause the polar ice caps to dislodge. And that's exactly what caused the Great Flood. And if another war happens, I think that's going to happen again. It is predicted that there's going to be another major flood. It could be that when Lord Enki takes the throne, he is going to do that to heal the earth that is damaged from the war. When you cover the land with water, it's like a Band-Aid. It causes it, it helps it to heal. Life underwater will grow and develop, and then when the waters recede back, then you get more life on the land, you see. So I believe that that's going to happen also. It's probably take about 100 years or so, you know, to get it enough for people can live decently, at least somewhat decently. I don't think that there is going to be what we see now. Our movies, our TV, our music is probably going to be totally banned because it is all created through the darkness. Your music, your actors, everything, people are going to create that again. There will be no monetary system. Everybody will have everything equally. It's going to be absolute wonderful time. People will get together and work. You're not just going to rest on your laurels. You're going to do it because you want to. Because you want to be part of the community. And you'll be growing your own food and everything will be cleaned up. No more poisons. You'll be doing natural healing. We do that through the hypnosis. I can show you how you can get rid of a lot of your illnesses very, very easy through the hypnosis. Dark side don't want you to know that. So in my hypnosis, I mention that and tell you, you know, the benefits of the hypnosis is absolutely incredible. But in Lil, what he is on trial for is the one thing is he has created his own race without permission from the council. Number two, he's made the human race suffer. You got your drugs, alcohol, poisons with water and food, taxes, and losing your homes. That's just a few of the things. I have a friend in England that's constantly brings up all the things that are happening over there. That's crazy. It's like that everywhere. Everybody could have $2 million automatically in their account. There is no money. They just use that system to screw us over. When somebody signs a contract with Marduk, let's say the rap artists, they're the ones that are really signing contracts. They're not his children. They're not transgendered. They still are intact males and females. Roseanne Barr is one. Snoop Dogg's another. Kathy Griffin is another. They're not all rap artists, of course, but basically your rap artist nowadays, they're all, they find a place for them, and they sign contracts. And these contracted people, they can take and, with the swipe of a finger, put $2 million in anybody's bank account. It's a racket. That's all it is. They do not want us humans to have anything, and they have absolutely everything. That's why they get more people signing those contracts. Come on over to the dark side, and we will give you a lot of stuff that you can't have. They just do not have a clue. Time is fleeting, and it's going by very, very quickly. It's getting really close to time, and I have got the proof of what he said to me through a client. 40 years. If I was you, I would leave all of that behind. I would not want to go where they're going to go, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm not a religious person, I never was, but I see where all of this is leading. And when I made a pact and I said, I will help you build your empire, I never realized it was all this stuff. But okay, this is it. And number three, what's a trial thing? Because he's destroyed a half of the population. Now this is speculation. If he does the war and causes that, he'll destroy the earth and half the population. Our military is sent over there to fight their battles. They're not saving America. They're not sent over there to save us. That is not true. They're sent over there to fight their battles. Our men and women die because of them. And the same thing is going to happen. When you say, well, the police force will not enforce going to, they got more common sense. They're not going to go and arrest people. You do not realize they're replacing all the police force that you have with his children. His children are running all of that. So, yes, they will. So, hence I'm building a fortress in my new house. When my house I'm flipping, I'm putting metal in the walls, metal and concrete. I am preparing. I'm lucky because I'm able to do this. A lot of people are not able to do this, but I would say you must get out of the cities in at least 25 years, but it's like it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The higher self through the hypnosis told me, I asked them two things. I said, will I have to worry about the war? And they said, no. I'm 60. I will probably not be here, but I'm going to see a lot of shit in the meantime. I said, what about the microchip? And they said, do not take that. So that's going to be available. I think it's going to replace everything. To me, in one way, boy, that's handy to have. It's really neat, you need to go to a hospital or whatever, bam, there, get in your house, buy, sell, or trade. Yeah, I can see it. It's got your number in it. We already have a Social Security number. It's not far from what we're doing now, actually. Every time I go to the doctor, I've got a Medicaid number, and they're probably already doing it. I think they're lying to us about the microchip, and they're already doing it to us because we already got numbers, people. Just open your eyes and look. Everything is a lie that comes out of TV, okay? None of that is correct. I think they're sideswiping. You're waiting for them to come up with a microchip when they've been screwing you over for a long time. If you're getting benefits from the government and you got numbers, the best thing you can do if you're going to have a child, and I would suggest not doing that at this time, is do not have a birth certificate. You can register the birth at home. Do not get a birth certificate or a social security number. That's two things that you should not do to your child. You need to teach them at home, and everybody needs to learn a craft. This is what's going to happen in the future after all of this. People are going to learn how to do stuff for themselves again. It's not going to just be made and gave to you. That makes people stupid. It really does. All this technology that has made things easier has made people distant from each other. So all of that's going to go in the trash because it's all satanic stuff. They are the ones that made it and put it out there to what is that? Fake us out is what we used to say. I don't know if they even say that anymore. Fake us out. Everything is fake. Nothing is real. But people, it's like they sit there and we're getting stupider and more stupider because you're paying attention to what they're showing you instead of using your common sense. Some people will not be able to make it, and it's like it's not the person, it's your living spirit that is picking up and registering absolutely everything. And I'll tell you more about that in hypnosis. I'll go through that. At the moment, as one thing hits me, I'm talking about it, as you can tell. I'll go from one thing to another. That's what happens when I sit by myself and I'll say one word and start talking about something, and it leads to something else. And the words just flow like they are. If I stop and try to think of something to say, my mind will go blank. It's amazing. I think the higher self kicks in, or my spirit kicks in, and allows the words to flow. I drive people crazy. They think, oh, she's crazy. She's talking to herself. My sister can't stand being around me because it's like, sometimes it's never ending. It's like a switch is flipped on and the stuff comes out, and it comes out so fast I can't even write it down. I had to ask the higher self beings to please shut that off. Let my mind rest. And for 2 or 3 days, I heard nothing came through. It's like everything was silent. So, there's a lot of stuff to cover. Did I say, yeah, I need to go back? And so I'm going to go back and forth, but this should be easy anyway. It's nothing strenuous on anybody. You'll have some homework to do. Yeah, well, I told you what his trial is going to be about, okay? When you're doing all that stuff, and if you think that this stuff ain't going to happen, let's hope that you're at least my age, and you ain't going to be here. Now, they told me I needed to be more organized, the higher self. They say you're going to need it for your next time. What did they just tell me? You're coming back. Okay, yeah. When am I coming back? I told Lord Enki that I would help build his empire. So, there may be a chance that I come back around that time. But he takes the throne and stuff, because I would have to grow up. I can't just help her off the bat. I don't know how much I have to go through on the other side to discuss a life plan before I come back again. That stuff about the life plan I hope to cover in my hypnosis thing. There's a lot of stuff about the other side, how you can find out about the other side, how you can be healed, how you can talk to your loved ones that are on the other side. Really easy, really fast, very simple. You first got to get rid of your fear, and that's what I hope to do. That fear is what they want you to live in. Once you get rid of that fear and you learn that spelling, and rituals, you do that every day. Once you learn that this stuff is real and it's meant for you to use, because you do it every day anyway. They just tell you different stuff and you believe it. So, anywho, let's see what else we got here on this one. We got all this stuff about these guys. Okay, that's it. Okay, all the people with the down to that. Yeah, there's a few things I'm going to cover, but I'll do that here and there because I really need to write all this stuff down so I don't skip around. Don't skip a beat on this stuff. Yeah, okay, I think that's all for now. A lot of this stuff will come up again and again. It just comes out and it flows. And it's best that it does that. That way there's no hiccups in between. Because if I try to think of what to say, it's like I get a lot of blank times lapses. And it's like, I do not want to do that. I don't like to edit everything. It just takes so much time to do stuff. And I hope to, I got some videos here. Let's go through these real fast. Well, there's me right there. And so what I'm going to do, okay, there he is. Okay, I'm going to take me off. And this is just to hide this. The first thing we're looking at is the 14 tablets of Enki. It is Stone Sumerian text. Zechariah Sitchin. It's not Stitchin, it's Sitchin. It's it's so strange. As I have to make sure people. It's just something that's put in me that I have to make people do this correctly. I don't know. It eats away at me when people. I get a lot of words wrong myself, but make sure it's Zechariah Sitchin. You just put in the Anunnaki on YouTube and just watch what comes up. A lot of stuff. But this 14 tablets of Enki, Ancient Astronauts Channel, is the one that reads it. There's like 13, 14. You got the introduction, the 13 or 14 books that they will do. And I have the link for YouTube to take you over there, and it's not a connected link. It's just the URL, and you guys have to physically put it into the thing at YouTube. Everything comes off of YouTube. I have not really television. I don't watch the shows. I do love my movies, but yeah, that's another story. You see all of this right here. Make sure I got everything inside the little screen here. I want to make sure nobody's left out. Yeah, well, the little feet are left out of the bottom of them, but anywho, yeah, all of this is, it's a diaries that Enki, our creator, actually, people wrote and stuff. Okay, I think one of these is Enlil, and one of them is Enki, okay? These hats do not have the horns on them. I've got some with that. This is supposed to be the Tree of Life, I do believe. They carry something that looks like a little handbag or a little purse. It's probably just got their little things like what us women carry nowadays. Maybe house keys and that kind of stuff in there, yeah. This up here shows that they had machines that flew. These wings show that they had the power of flight, and this is a machine. Well, that's how the ancient Sumerians had to do this. They didn't have words for what they were seeing. And a human being would come up to about right here on one of these guys. These guys are 8 or 9 foot tall. Yeah, they're pretty tall. Here's a story about angels that maybe I can get to while I'm thinking about it. I asked the higher self in the hypnosis I asked them, do angels have wings? And they said no, it's a human thing. However, they have armor that wraps around them to protect them during battle. They do various different things. You got your messenger angels and different ones, but it appears that they're made for battle also. The angels are cloned. They are not made with egg and sperm like the humans. Hence, a lot of angels thought that Lord Enki loved us humans more than them because we have Enki's genetics. When you clone somebody, who knows where all that stuff comes from? Probably the other scientists or the higher ranking officials that they have. That's probably where all that starts at. But angels do not have wings. They do have a avatar body, and they have a living spirit like all of us do. We all came from source, and we all are basically that living divine spirit, and that comes from that, not Lord Enki. God is not almighty. I hate to say that. He is what he is, and that's what he is. But source, so in a way, we are divine beings. Our spirits are divine beings. To have a human experience, we have to be in these bodies to do that. So, and there's a process. I'm trying to find out, how did Enki get the spirits to go into the bodies? I tried asking one of my clients when they were under her higher self, and they said, well, he just goes to source and gets them. And it's like, okay, didn't tell me the process of it, but okay. Perhaps one day we'll know all this stuff, and I'm just so curious. It's like, yeah, I would really, so much that we all want to know, and when Enki takes the throne, maybe we'll get some real history, what's really going on. It would be nice. Your spirit knows absolutely everything. It's just what happens before you come here. I don't think it's allowed to tell the body anything. When you go through hypnosis, you tap into that and stuff comes out. Foreign languages come out when people are under a hypnosis also as well. Okay, so, anywho, the angels, they were cloned beings, and they do battle and stuff. And I work with Archangel Michael. He's one of the major ones I work with under hypnosis. When I remove spirits, he is absolutely wonderful. Okay. No, I have not seen him. No, I have heard him. Yeah. Well, you'll get to hear those on the hypnosis thing. Oh, I just noticed something interesting. Why does this... Okay, now this looks like a guy here. This is very, very strange. Okay, let me just tell you what I'm picking up from this, because once you learn to read the skeletal structure of a person and you're looking for if they're male or female... I just spotted something here, Gerald Clark. See this man here, and it looks like he's got a straight back, but his arm's right here. This is a female curve in this back. This is what a female curve looks like. This is very odd to find that. I know that it's tough art and stuff, but why would they put a big curve in a back if there wasn't one? This one doesn't really have it. Could it be that they were transgendered Anunnaki? Yes, very much so. But the feet look absolutely enormous. They're all absolutely enormous and stuff. But this is really, look at this, my trans friends. This here looks like a shadow, though. But wow, look at this. This is what a female curve in the back looks like, people. Males will be straight. This is just probably, because they're doing that by hand, Who knows? But anyway, yeah, there's a little bit about the angels and stuff. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Let's see what we got here. This tablet here, this tells about the Great Flood, the Great Deluge. let's see, the Epic of Gilgamesh, it is written in that book also as well. Very fine book, people. You can get everything off of Amazon. I get all used stuff. The man that deciphered, interpreted, what is the words that you decode or whatever this, when he realized what he had, the story is that he ripped his clothes off and danced around naked in the room. And that was sort of like when I found out that Gene Simmons of Kiss was really a female. It's like, I felt like that. The find of the century. Unfortunately, a few other people kind of realize that Gene is. Okay, I will show you that later. I've got that one also. I've got his whole family and stuff. When in doubt, check the spouse out. That's the new thing. When in doubt, check the spouse out. Because if the spouse is showing to be trans also, the opposite sex, you know you got something. Okay? But anyway, this is amazing. Where this is, you're going to have to investigate it. Because, I don't know, they got museums all around. Who knows? Now here, a Russian person did this, and this is lovely. You could do this as an embroidery coloring book. Yeah, it was in Russian. I think this might be Enlil, because he was the god of the air, like the Air Force, I think. Commander of the Air Force, and that's what the eagle would be about, okay? And the wings, he had power of flight. No, he didn't have wings. See, that's where they got the angels confused. Angels do not have wings, people. They don't need it. They have a living spirit that goes inside people. And here's a little tip here while I'm thinking about this. The rich people that think they're going to go underground and be safe when the war breaks out, I got news for you. Archangel Michael and those spirits can go inside people or anything. They will go in there and they will turn off your air. They will turn off everything, and that underground chamber will be your tomb. Your body will die. What happens after that? They will collect your spirit and they will escort it down to the center earth. Well, you'll go on trial first. You will have that trial. That's what the judgment is. I was told that there's a judgment. It's in the hypnosis thing. I didn't know. I had kind of heard about it, but nobody knows exactly what that consists of. But I think it's at this thing that's coming up, actually. Who's going to go down there and who's going to remain up here or whatever and continue to incarnate and stuff and get your new bodies and stuff. But what's going to happen is, those spirits will be on trial. And when they go to the center earth, a body would not stand that intense heat. So it is the living spirits that are there in prison for their crimes against humanity is basically what it is. Like I said, a spirit can see, feel, and hear, definitely. So put yourself in that situation of the volcano, like I said, what the heat from that's going to be like. And I just could not even comprehend even the terror that 1,600 and some odd years, if you ever burnt yourself on an iron for a second, their spirits cannot die. That's how they're going to feel it over and over and over. But it's not for eternity. That's wrong. It's not eternity. It's for the rule of Enki. This is when he's going to rule, and this is what he's going to say what's going to happen to those that have crimes against humanity, against his creation. Probably him too. But I was told that by the higher self, they cannot tell me everything because I bombarded them with questions. You'll get to hear that. And they said, wait a minute, we can't tell you everything. It would spoil the surprise. And I said, I hope there's cake with that surprise. Yeah, really. That surprise is hopefully I see it as there's going to be a major celebration. It's going to be a really big celebration when he takes the throne. Because 1,600 years ago is when Enlil Marduk took the throne and damaged everything. And so we only live 80 years. We were supposed to get 120 and we got shorted a little bit. But, as you get older, you get feeble and everything. So when you're about 80, you don't get to see, the history, how it changes. They can make it new every 100 years. They could put new stuff in laws and all that kind of nonsense and stuff. So we'll get to see everything brand new when Lord Enki takes the throne, and we're evolved enough. It's going to be spectacular. I just know it is. And God, people, for your own sake, if you are connected to Marduk, Enlil, the Satan, whoever, which one that is, please, you really need to get out. You really need to get out. Just get on a higher vibration. Whatever vibration you radiate at, the more love and the caring and the goodness that you have will raise your vibrations. If not, you'll live at whatever vibrational level that you yourself put yourself on. And demons are on a very low vibrational level. So drugs, alcohol, just frivolous sex, or however they say, I don't know, just go out there. Because at those times, and depression, at those times brings the spirits inside. Brings the demons inside. Other spirits can enter your body at any time, actually. And I go through that through the hypnosis. It's fast and easy to remove them. It's a no-fail plan. I think all this stuff, it's all coming out now because it's getting close to the end. Like it said in the Bible, things will be revealed. And it's like, people don't know that you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on hospital bills. The higher self, these beings can heal you. Jesus worked through them. I believe they're the watchers in the Bible, and they watch us 24/7. But that's it for the hypnosis sessions. There's just too much to go through. I talk of what comes through my mind. If it flows through, I'm not going to cut it off. So you guys are going to have to hear a lot of stuff, and you'll hear it repeated, probably. Okay. Now getting back to this is beautiful. It's like, oh, I love this. I need to do an embroidery. I have an embroidery machine. When I move my house, it's a healing center. And that healing center, I'm going to let other people use the equipment and stuff that they wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. Teach them some trades, because if they live during the war, they're going to have to be able to trade what they can do with others to survive. Oh yeah, the power of flight, that's this, and the wings, This is a beautiful art. It just came up when I looked for some pictures. I think this is Marduk. Gerald Clark knows more about that. This might be the Amulu, I think is what he called it, the weapons of mass destruction. I love this, and these are huge. They're real big things. When I do my new house, I was going to put trees in as pillars, and I thought, that'd be so neat. I'm an artist, and it would be so neat to carve these. I have two going from my living room to my dining room. Wouldn't that be neat to have this on one and this on the other? You walk in my house, it's going to look like a museum. It's a male. Is that a crack or is that a willy? I don't know. I don't know. You think of things like that. It's funny. Hey, he's got the power of flight. He's got wings, and he does too. I don't know about this. When they did, now this looks odd, and it looks like mythology because you ain't seen anything like this. Guess what? They were cloning these things, and they were hybrids, which means they couldn't reproduce. on their own. Each one had to be made and stuff, and it's like, this is the weirdest thing. They need to explain this to me when Enki takes the throne. What is this about? What kind of creature was this? He looks like he's wearing a hoodie. Yeah, he does. That's just so fantastic. I don't know if that's Marduk or whatever, but if I carve this, is it going to bring the darkness into my home? Geez, I don't know. You could make the intent and focus on God, actually, Enki doing this. Yeah. You could even carve Enki on it. That might help to change who it is. Excuse me. Music and other things that you bring into your house brings the spirits in. I was put, no, I wasn't put under hypnosis, excuse me. My son took me to two women that laid me on this massage table, I guess it was. And I closed my eyes and they did their psychic thing or whatever. And at the end, when I woke up, the one told me that it was like her guides were pulling like ribbons away from me. And I said, well, what did that mean? She said, there were hundreds of spirits connected to you. And I said, yes. I said, I'm a hypnotherapist and an exorcist also. So I deal with a lot of spirits. There's always a lot of spirits around me. Yes, there are. So when I'm talking, I'm teaching them also, actually. When I talk outright and there's nobody here, I am actually teaching them also what I know. Because a lot of them have never incarnated in a body here. So they are learning. Even the watchers don't understand our language so much. It gets them confused. They learn by watching us. Every person I put under hypnosis, their watcher responds sort of like the beliefs of that person. Yeah, I find through Patty that hers is one that God speaks through. They say she knows who the real God is, which I think it's the good one in the Bible is what it is. Yeah. Okay. I love this anyway. I just think it's neat because this is so unusual. You know, if I carved that in there, that would look really awesome. Okay, Gerald Clark's Anunnaki series. This is the best. I just find it just absolutely to the T. You'll have to just write this down. And luckily, you can just sit back and listen to it. I like that. Better than reading. My eyesight's not so good. I got a lot of floaters in my eyes and stuff, and it's hard for me to read stuff. But yeah, this is one of the top ones. So you can stop the film and write that down. And yeah, just stop the film and write that down. Okay. Here, Gerald from his Anunnaki series, he had this modern day money from Iraq. It shows a Sumerian stone carving to be Enlil the Satan, the one that's on the throne now, or Marduk. I never got to meet them to ask, which one are you? Okay. I could ask a higher self, okay, who's on the throne at this time, but they won't tell you a lot of stuff. They're not allowed, as far as God goes, they're not allowed to talk about him, and they're not allowed to share anything. I asked, well, does he have like blue eyes? We are not allowed to talk about him. You'll hear that on the hypnosis. Okay. Yeah, okay. And I say it changes it could be 35 years from now, when it goes into the age of Aquarius. Now, this is what I've heard. The Anunnaki rule through an age. Pisces was the age of Jesus. Okay, that's why you get the little fish that have got Jesus written on it, people. They don't know what that really means. Okay. Iraq is where they planted themselves. That's when they first touched down here on Earth. That's where they planted themselves. That's where all that fighting and stuff over there goes on. Yeah, the big one coming will probably take place over there, and all of our people will go over there and fight their battles and die. And here's a thought. America is going to be the new Atlantis. Enki, I think, was in charge of the old Atlantis that was before they destroyed it some way or another. It's like they are builders and destroyers, and they're very warlike, a lot of them are. But yeah, that'd be kind of neat, a paradise, tropical paradise that isn't too tropical. That humidity is pretty bad, but you know, we were never, well, our ancestor, or Homo erectus, was used to the atmosphere. And this would be Africa, Middle East. It's drier, it's not so humid and stuff, but the Anunnaki were different. One thing about those guys, their atmosphere on Nibiru gave them a glow to their body. And I'm thinking this is where Jesus had the glow to his body, probably. Yeah, it's interesting that. If you go through the series, you may find that Gerald Clark series. I say just listen to a lot of stuff, but I would take what he says really well. Some people get Enki and Enlil backwards, and which is not a good thing to do, because one loves us and the other one hates humanity, and so you need to know who your enemy is, I think. Okay. This is the Lost Books of Enki. This is the introduction one. You go put this down, and this is your introduction to that. There's 14 of them. Yeah, I suggest you listen to it. It's got a lot of good information. It's like a diary. And Zechariah Sitchin is the one that that went over the stone text and found these. He is no longer with us, but he was from Turkey, I think. Yeah. Was that it? Oh my goodness, maybe that is it. All right, I'll go ahead and just cut this off. It's long enough on the video. And I may do a couple of because I'm so excited to do it, to show you how we find out if a person's male or female. This is neat. Oh, I've got a really, really good one for you lined up. Boy, what I found was it just blew me away about a top actor that, yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go for now, and I'll get busy with that and getting this stuff up so you can go ahead and look at it. Most of my stuff will be probably after the new year, because I have to plan everything, I have to record everything, and I have to upload everything, and I've never done it, so having to learn all this stuff in between, that takes time as well. All right then, that's it for today.